Welcome back to the subject Object-Oriented Analysis and Design. Today's topics are Document Architecture, Reasons to Document Architecture, Identify the Views, 4+1 Architecture View Model, Architecture Decision Record, and the next one is the C4 model. So coming to the first topic, Document Architecture. As we know that these are the two different types of phases when we develop any project or whenever a software is developed. So the architecture is a blueprint where the document is a script or the information which is collected regarding the architecture. So this document architecture is an important part of the software development in understanding among the employees, that is the developers. At the same time, to make the stakeholder or the end user to understand the information, this document architecture is helpful to communicate among the users as well as among the developers. So this architecture must be documented in a good amount of details and should be presented in an accessible form for many different stakeholders. Here the stakeholders are the end users or the users who is going to purchase the product or in software. So a simple search shows a lot of material. So whenever we'll search for any particular information, this document architecture is much more helpful in making understanding the exact concept or the information. So however, much of it tends to be pretty complex in nature. So to make this document architecture is a little bit difficult, because totally diagrams architecture deals with the different kinds of models where the document related to the architecture, at the same time it needs to record the whole information starting from the point of the project development or a product development and up to the end of the releasing the product or submitting to the end user. In between this, the whole information should be documented. So in the document there should be an analysis, that is an abstract, and there should be the information related, there is a details of the problem statement, then there should be a design, then the coding part, and we should come across the various information collecting to that particular problem statement. So all these things should be documented. So this is a little bit complicated when compared to isolate and looking into the architecture and isolate and looking into the document. So we need to include all the information in the document architecture. So much like there is not one definition around what an exactly architecture, there is a document architecture is. So no one can confirm and define exactly what is an exactly document architecture. Coming to the next one, reasons to this document architecture. So what is the need of making this document architecture? The main purpose is whiteboard designs are not persistent. Like making only the architecture is not a sense or a meaning, because by seeing that models or in diagrams, neither the stakeholder can easily understand, because that are related to the technical diagrams or the models, where the person may not have an awareness on what exactly the working of the models or the designs. So when we communicate with the client or with the stakeholder, they should have a script or an information so that the person can understand what is the exactly working of the problem or project, or what exactly the problem statement is. At the same time, what they had committed at the initial stage when they approach the developer or when they approach towards the software engineer. So whenever the end user is approaching towards the stakeholder or the end user, from the day one onwards, the whole information will be collected and it is going to be recorded. So that information should be much more useful, like reasons why we are going for a document architecture. So the next one is there are so many various of decisions that drive the design could be forgotten, and documentation could help us to get some information. Like there is a chance like the developer may forgot what exactly they had committed in the previous review or in the previous interaction with the end user or the stakeholders. So at the same time, this will be helpful to explain the information, what is the previous status of the work, or what is the progress of the work. So this document is much more helpful in that concept. At the same time, people doesn't stay for an ever. For example, among the developers, among the engineers, there is a chance the employee can take a resignation and they can drop from the company, or they are not going to be continued with because of the health issues. So in that case, the other person or the other employee can easily understand by going through this document architecture. So they can understand the status of whatever the work which is developed till now by the ex-employee or the previous employee. So this is a major reasons that we can find the purpose of why we have to go for documenting the architecture. At the same time, if you talk about some complicated distributed system approaches like a software, so SOA, as well as increasing the overall design scopes and complexities. So whenever the developer is developing an enhancing project, or it is a dynamic type of software development, in that case, this is much more helpful to understand what is the previous case and what is the existing problem, how to overcome that problem statement, and what is their proposal. Based on the proposal, what should be an enhancement. So all these things can be helpful in going through with the document architecture. So this is a combination of both the document, collecting all the related information. At the same time, it is going to be represent the overall model of the system. So that is the main purpose why we had to go for the document architectures. These are the major reasons we can find. Coming to the next one, identify the views. So in what view that we have to identify and develop the document. So as we know that documentation is related to a particular software, the information related to that particular software. So here, what the views are there? There are different approaches are there to support the listed views. We can see one is the module view, the second one is the logical view, physical view, behavior view. Coming to the module view, internal working of the components. So whenever we see that there is so many models are there, among that models, what is the internal integration or internal connectivity among the components. So this module view we can give the view about the internal communication or internal connections of the components. Whereas the second one is a logical view, how different modules works together to provide the business functionality. Logically, how it is going to be work. So what is an front end, what is the back end, what is an exact integration or the interconnection that we are performing. So this logical view can define exactly the overall working of your architecture and model. Coming to the next one, physical view. So how the components are deployed. So this physical view can represent the hardware connectivities. When we talk about the module views, module can talk about the internal software connectivities, whereas the physical view can represent whatever the devices that are supporting to connect or interconnected. Whereas the next one is a behavior view, the dynamic aspects of the system behavior and the variance. So behavior view can represent that in which application that it can be applicable, where that can be used. So in the point of that behavior we are going to understand. So all these are the various views that we need to identify whenever we are going for documenting any problem or any project. Coming to the next one, 4.1 architectural view. So as we said, there are 4 different kinds of views are there. This is one of the example architectural view, that is a 4+1. So altogether it will be an 5. So the architectural blueprint, exactly what to say, that is a architecture is nothing but it's a kind of blueprint, and this 4+1 view model of an software architecture. So this view can explain exactly what is an software architecture. The way of visualizing the software application architecture is based on 5 views and perspectives of the applications, telling us what diagrams can be used to document each of those views. So as we know that, depend upon the project that the developer is developing, whether it is an operating system, or it is an application software, or it is an system software, based on the type of the software, the developer can choose a different types of models to design. They can go for the flowchart, they can go for the ER diagrams, they can go for UML models. That depends upon what project that the developer is going to be developed. So depend upon all these models. So here, that is totally depend upon the architecture. They are going to be differentiate. So the view is going to be changed. If it is related to the enhancing project and the developer is using the UML models, their view can be totally different. If it is totally related to the databases and the total project is designed with the ER models, the view of the developer will be totally different. So in the point of that, we can discuss what is the total 5 views at the perspective of the application. Depends upon that, they are going to be developed. So we can see what are the 4+1 architecture and how it works. So here you can see the total 4+1 view. The first one is the logical or the structural view. The second one is the implementation or the developer view. The third one is a process or behavior view. The fourth one is the deployment and or the physical view. And the fifth one is the use cases or the scenario view. This is an example of an software. This is an example of an software architecture. So if you take an software architecture related to the enhancing software or enhancing project, in that case, if the developer is choosing an UML models, so this example is for an UML models. In this case, all the 4+1 models are related to the UML diagrams. If this example, if the developer is working for an databases and the diagram is related to the ER models, according to the perspective of the ER models, they are supposed to represent the 4+1 model. If the developer is working on a particular any language, if they are going with the defining the total problem statement on the flow chart, so this 4+1 model should be related to the flow chart. So from the perspective of what kind of software that the developer is developing and what designs that was chosen by the developer, based on that this 4+1 architecture will be represented. So here is an example for the UML models. So this first model is representing the logical or the structural view. If you see here, what is the perspective of that? Under the perspective of analyst and the designer. So the analyst and designer is choosing to perform this, and at which stage they are going to perform, at the stage of requirement and analysis. So here you can find that is a class diagram which can be at the stage of collected, at the stage of requirement analysis, and the focus is on object oriented decomposition, and the concerns are related to the functionality, how exactly it is working, and the artifacts are nothing but these can be defined with the help of a class diagram, or it can be defined with an object diagram or composite structural diagram. So this particular logical or structural view can be defined, or it can be designed with the help of these artifacts like a class diagram, object or composite or structural diagrams. At the same time, you can also see that implementation or developer view. So if you see that the perspective is the developers or the project managers. So from the point of project managers or from the point of the developers, that implementation can be done at the stage of designs. As we know, the SDLC models are consisting of, first stage is a requirement analysis that we can see here under the logic and structural view. The second stage is a design. Here we can see that. The third stage is also here, it is representing for the design. The fourth stage is also here, it is representing the design. So as we are talking about the document architecture, all these stages are related to the designs, whereas the first one is related to the functionality. So this is an exactly example how to represent the 4+1 model, view model. So this is a brief description about this 4+1 view model. The next one is the architecture decision record. So what we are going to record? Record in the sense it is going to collect all the information whenever the user is interacting with the developer, or whenever the end user or stakeholder is interacting with the developer, or whenever there is a minutes of meeting among the employees or the developers, or whenever they are having a brainstorm or the discussions. Among that information, it is going to be collected and record, where the recording of the information is totally different from a document. So here this architecture decision records is whenever the interaction is done among the employees or among the end user and the developers, they used to collect all the minutes of the meeting information, and they'll be maintaining a record so that there will be a clear picture and they should not have any grievances or the issues among the two people. Coming to the next one, C4 model. So this is also one of the example which is going to zoom and look into exactly in each and every component of the overall architecture diagram. So as the previous one we had seen, in the diagram we can have something like a system context diagram, container diagram, component diagram, code diagram. So in the UML diagrams, each and every diagram will be focused on a specific context. So here also these C4 models will be looking into each and every level of the document, and they'll go for designing the models. Coming to the first one, system context diagram. So here if you take any application, this example is for the bank example. When you take any application for a bank, there will be a lot of things that we need to focus. One context is totally related to the accounts, one context is only totally for the deposit, one context is towards the e-banking. So if you talk about one application, there is so many views where we need to focus. So here, this is an example of looking into the e-banking. So here the context is addressing towards the online banking. So this system context will focus on exclusively only in that particular e-banking. Coming to the next one, container. So here the container will be again focusing into the box of that particular previous diagram. If you see the previous one, in this diagram, individually there are the different types of boxes that we can find. When you focus individually into this is a one software which is used for the internet banking. This is one software which is designed for mainframe banking system. This is one software which is designed for the email system. So there is a different kinds of software that are interconnected. This is a web application, whereas this is related to some databases. So all these are interconnected. When we focus on a specific box, so this this is an example of how container exactly looks into individual application or works. As we know, the project consisting of some APIs, databases. So here it is going to be look into each and everything. The last one is a code. As we know that code plays a major role. Code can be represented with the class diagrams. There is a class diagram, object diagram. So where exactly a structural diagram can be reflected into the code. So this is all about the C++ model. Thank you.